of items and huge economic burden, suffering the people are experiencing now. So therefore, I don't want to believe this is the right time for the price to shoot up. They should have been able to put measures in place. One of the things we've been experiencing quite recently is that our government, not only referring to the incumbent or the SLPP government, they are being reactive rather than being proactive. So there should be a proactive measures, being foresighted, looking at the implications of all of this, other than waiting for the results, then trying to put measures in place. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. So I'm afraid on the cost of the tool, I'm afraid it will eventually affect.
Okay, but just before you come in, let me just invite the thoughts of the listeners. You can actually call now on 077963963, 077963963. If you're just joining us, the program is The Top Stories on Rise Radio 96.3 FM. My reviewers or analysts this morning are Dr. Alex Bangura, a geopolitical analyst, and as well Alfie Barrie, a media practitioner and as well media analyst. So yes, Barry, whilst we wait for the calls, you can actually share your thoughts regarding the latest increment on the toll gate. I think we've actually talked about this quite a number of times, but here we are now experiencing a new price increment on the toll gates, and it concomitant effects.
I don't want to see
people.
I don't want to see
mostly
people.
Freetonians.
I don't. No, this is not Freetonian. Everybody is going to be impacted. It's going to be having concomitant effect on almost all commodities in Sierra Leone. I don't want to be advocating for someone to lose their job, but Dr. Sandy should either be pushed or he should leave, because he seems to be very inconsistent.
And when you say pushed, what do you mean?
He should either resign or the president should sack him.
Okay.
He seems to be
relieved. The word is relieved.
No,
they are not sacking
him. No, listen, I'm going to be very brutal here. He should be sacked. You know why? Because he is very inconsistent. He seems to be very flip-flopping in his thoughts. Now, after, you don't call this number up, they push up our members of parliament. Now, our MPs, they failed us, both SLPP and APC. Yeah. They failed us, the people of Sierra Leone, as they've always done, when it comes to very important issues that bolster our people's livelihood. So, for the minister now, for embark on nationwide sensitization for it per diem, after you don't count the number of people you don't put up for parliament, I make money for Sakam. I mean, for the past 3 months, Minister Sandy has been the PRO for the Chinese company. He has been the black man in a Chinese skin. He's literally the public relations officer for the Chinese company for the past 3 months. Now, in the first place, you see, there are times when you embark on agreements, that long-term agreements, maybe 25, this one is 27 years. Just get at the back of your mind that you are taking decisions on behalf of your own children yet unborn. My own children yet unborn. That's the decision you are taking. And if you are not careful, you are potentially mortgaging their future on the altar of short-sightedness and selfishness. The agreement that was passed in the APC at that time were not perfect. They made a lot of mistakes. There were gray areas. But broadly, the toll gate in every part of the world is part of infrastructural development. It embellishes the road. And that particular place that toll gate is, that place used to be a hotspot for accidents and traffic. Alex, you know that.
Yes.
When you go to. So when that road don't come, it don't better small. But there's no part in the world, and Alex knows that. He's a well-traveled man. There's no part in the world that you will have a toll gate without having an alternative.
Alternative route.
There's no part of the world. Because a toll gate is like a decision with them. Like just make a go club. Me na VIP ango, me ango bobo jama. You give people alternative. But the alternative, the Chinese, they've blocked that road. They've forced our hands. But that's a small issue. We don't be at the from 26, you don't be at that party. But the one we really more on me, that the accountability and transparency aspect were very questionable. It is embedded in the 60-page report which I have read. The concessionee, that is the CLSG, they are obliged by law that they should provide toll traffic. Now, the big English toll traffic, what does that mean? Every blessed month, every day.
I think we've started hearing that they will start doing that by month now. I don't know how realistic that could be.
Okay, no, listen. This done day from 2016. What if we don't already pay this thing before time? You know how much they make Pandey for just the already
Hastings to what?
Just Hastings, the first one. So what? Now much they make Pandey? If we do that calculation, why have they not provided this for the past how many years when this road done day? Now they want to put up. After, it's just like you closing the staples after the horse has bolted. beating the dead horse. When they don't fry with your own oil, they don't begin to tell you what for do now.
Forgetting that the people started paying, contributing
even before
when
they
it was
10%. 10%. And
Yes.
that's the first thing I mean life for sitcom. Let's this frankly. I'm going to be brutally honest here, because you don't think it will happen. You don't make it happen now. Now, them tell that cook and day. I know Musa.
Yes.
Now call they come in. Like just make this point.
Yeah, just quickly.
Now, charcoal. Like just one example I give you. One example. I talk about that pepper maggi. Charcoal. Let me the way they put charcoal upline. For instance, we don't go burn charcoal 300-400 bag. You know say they put on a bien center truck. They put on it. Count on a feet on a net. Now, when that center truck in price don't go up by 150%. You get for hard price per now. If you say charcoal, charcoal na 120 for bag. So say 100,000 depends on the area already. Now, where this thing they don't take effect to from the 15. They can't be see how charcoal the price they go. Just charcoal I talk about cassava leaf, I talk about palm oil. For when they free to, when they go upline. So man they can't buy market there. You go to upline. So sometimes when our members of parliament, when you see the APC, when they pass particular, when they discuss the census, man they fets. You see one members of parliament to a chair. You know why? Because it boils around the personal individual interest. But it comes for national interest. You see an MP to a phone self and company. I'm not advocating for violence, but the kind of anger what they get for the census, they say now, they be all quiet and subservient when they pass this particular one. So the parliament has failed us. The government has failed us. But again, as President Bio tell me, we are resilient people and they will deliver. So they bear. But this particular one, and now the other theory for come back. The freight price and the war law increase. I think they have to be negative about government, but these are the harsh realities. Freight price, container price, that the world market don't go up. Now, I made for understand say container get for increase from $4,000 where they pull on Ataki to $13,000. You don't think it will happen now? So now double whammy when it comes to the economy. Some members of parliament they sit on the parliament, the left sit down, the CLSG, they think that they are more powerful than people of Sierra Leone. When they don't make the end of the bargain, they force this down with what we are going to suffer. You know, you see, and again, in fact, this minister, the way Emmanuel go about this thing, a very dictatorial. The transportation sector, you know, we don't engage drivers union, Alfie Barrie, you know, the Namawe, they put it outside they want. The transport sector is diverse. Now we have bus riders union. Yes. They are now an authority under this new Stream project. We have keke riders.
Yes, the
we have taxi drivers. We have the problem with taxi driver is quite different from Pura driver. So why just go talk to Alpha Barrie when you just represent one sector? So the engagement was not all inclusive. It was very biased and tilted towards those that will sing to their tune. But we don't be this. Now I need to talk about this again because this don't happen now.
We are civil society.
And I tell you what, Salon West is until don't pass. You don't go up for let Kano again.
So doctor, looking at even the tripartite that we've just talked about a few minutes ago, and as well this toll gate and a lot of indeed and a lot of other national issues. How effective is government really, incorporating the views of the people, the feelings of the people? How is really government bringing along the people to know that this is what is going around? I mean, that is also something perhaps we need to talk around.
Well, the evidence is there. The thing speaks for itself. Democracy comes with dissenting voices. Voices of the people must be heard. And you begin to engage the people. In my previous discourse, that was on NRA on taxes. Where we get it wrong many a times is thinking that development project is owned by the government. When a government begins to think in that direction, it becomes problematic, even with the toll gate saga. Now, what we need is a good PR system on the part of the government, and again, public education or civic education. Kalili Tutange should explain better by educating the public, knowing that whatever project we have is owned by the people. Once there is a sense of belongingness, ownership on the part of the populace, then you can ride safely with that project. I'm not saying challenges will not be there, but it will be minimal, not complex challenges as we are now facing. It's because there is a total cutoff from the people, as Alfie mentioned, not until the people are involved into, issues of development and letting the people understand that whatever project you're coming with belongs to the people. My organization, the objective of it is to hold the government and people accountable for the use of the country's resources in every aspect, campaign for equality, for the use of our country's resources. So once it happens in that direction, then we'll move forward. But there is a total cutoff from the people. And as soon as we continue to experience situation of the nature, I'm telling you that we're not even thinking to move forward. We're stuck somewhere.
Because I'm thinking like when things go bad, naturally at times things happen. But then if I, for instance, as a father of a family, and then things are going bad, I get my family on a round table. I say, look, things are going this way. We all understand from now on, this is how it will be happening, as opposed to what used to happen. I mean, the family comes to understand better, and we walk around it, and things happen for the better. But that's not happening between government and the people.
No, Musa, I like the analogy. Me, what I be doing about Baba, me papa, when the economy go up, we don't forget conversation. Waiting to go up, me lunch, it is up no more. Waiting if you just think, you see, I will give five block, it make a 7 block, it make a 1,000. Me papa, he don't forget conversation with me because he understands the situation. He reads the situation and it give me the lunch. And I saw like the analogy. I don't like for call government, papa government, government on papa. In fact, I mean that the papa citizen, the government and be picking. Now, a misnomer for the people that say papa government. No, the government should be the picking, now who for be the papa, who the citizen, when the opposite way around. But I will tell you, you see, it has been very consistent when it comes to issues.
But also, the papa and they grumble against him picking.
Of course. In fact, the papa don't be picking now. But I will tell you, and this is not just with the bill administration. You can also look at it from the APC point of view. Yeah. When it comes to issues that touches and concerns the ordinary man, when it comes to issues, and watch my word, when it comes to issues that touches and concerns the ordinary man, most of the time, the government need to take them seriously. Instead, and with the ordinary man, them poor people them don't need to treat. Now they fund the flamboyant lifestyle of politicians.
Absolutely.
Ministers and they in SUVs, from air condition, fuel sheets, per diem, salaries,
taxes of
fast salaries. You know what they give them an agreement. For let give them comfort, for let them deliver for we 7 million people. But we don't give them all the comfort then they. Some ministers in the world been 5-6 years ago now, nothing they don't get. Now they are driving in SUVs. They are now in air conditioned home, traveling from New York to Washington. All that to give, we sacrifice, we will forgive them. But when it comes for the own side, for them sacrifice, for do the little thing for we, for ensure people get small comfort. But they don't deviate. They're left with the suffer because they are very insensitive to our plight. They're just paying attention to what is benefiting them. But again, this is going to be my closing courtesy in Sierra Leone. Until politicians, they see Sierra Leoneans as electorates rather than voters, will continue to be in this situation. I repeat, until they see we like electorates rather than voters. But we other politicians, they see we as alone, like sheeps. Where you boss party before, so don't want to go soon. All the time for go. Until we have an electorate that understands politics not based on parochial regionalism or tribalism, but based on issues or manifestos or ideas or deliverables. Until we have the electorate that decides that particular one, will continue to be in this vicious circle.
All right, just in perhaps one minute each. We saw, of course, the ECOWAS Court of Justice in our country, from the 13th to the 16th of this month, and the president of the court is calling for or advocating for closer ties with national courts. And we all know when things happen at national level, they are mostly at times taken to the ECOWAS Court. And quickly, Doc, the ECOWAS Court is calling for synergy, kind of, between the ECOWAS court and that of the local courts or national courts of ECOWAS.
The ECOWAS itself has to make its mandate relevant to start with. And we've been experiencing military coup d'etat across Africa. And ECOWAS is mostly seen as a toothless bull.
Just a second, Doc. This is quite important. I think we'll have to have a few more minutes added to the program, listener, please. So let's go. Yes, Doc.
Yes, a toothless bull. Reasons being that we've seen, developments in the Sahel, and ECOWAS has been making statements, and those military guys are saying bullshit. Sorry for the use of word. That we don't mind what you're saying. We'll not take it into consideration. Not until they decide to make its mandates relevance. ECOWAS itself, member states itself, I'm afraid. And the situation of also what was experienced by Sam Sumana in those days. And we had the responses of the government then, including JFK, telling you that ours mandate cannot be compared to that of ECOWAS. doesn't have any hold on jurisdiction. So it's an issue, and it has come to a complex situation we're now experiencing. And if they want to follow, the European Union and other bodies across, they've got to make themselves, relevant. Otherwise, I am afraid. And it's a laudable venture. And again, the ECOWAS court, several issues were addressed during the course of our elections, particularly on the choice of electoral system. When it was near-fetched, our elections were near-fetched. They were advised, but our government couldn't listen them as much as what the opposition did then, so I'm afraid. But it's in the right direction, not only in literatures to make statements, but we want to see practicability of it. We want to see how they work on it, considering the fact that member states are signatory to the ECOWAS. So it means that they have to go with what is stipulated. But I'm afraid that we are seeing something else.
All right. So Barry, if we could go back, we will actually have a number of cases, perhaps 4 or 5, or as much as even more than that. Cases whereby ECOWAS would say this, and then all we could hear is government would say, well, ECOWAS don't say this, but we not able to meet up this. So what the essence of ECOWAS court then?
Now,
one would ask.
The essence of the creation of the ECOWAS court, just like you have the European Union Court of Justice, or you have the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, it's basically to provide alternative for people who have exhausted their local courts.
Yeah.
And when you've exhausted and you are not given the requisite justice, you can seek redress outside. But the ECOWAS court is battling with 2 things. First, national courts are now seeing the ECOWAS court as competitor and usurping their powers. And second, national countries that are signatories, as Alex said, to the ECOWAS court are not really adhering to some of the things that the ECOWAS courts are meant for. So, for instance, in Sam Sumana's issue, it's still an outstanding issue. They passed the law that it was illegal when he was sacked, and they recommended that the government needs to compensate the man. And up until now, the APC refused, the SLP is refusing to do it. So, as of now, what I think should happen is, as it was advocated in the 4-day conference, there must be the synergy and understanding between the ECOWAS court and national courts, that they are not competitors, but rather they are complementing each other to ensure that we have justice in the sub-region. Because as of now, ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, is a troubled region. It is in turbulence. ECOWAS, as of now, they've lost their relevance for many analysts like Alex, who is an expert in that area.
So how do you talk of the AU then?
The African Union. I'm talking about just the ECOWAS.
ECOWAS,
the ECOWAS. It's a bloc representing West Africa.
I understand.
And now we're not seeing in West Africa, we're not seeing, in fact, the military seem to be dominating. In fact, they are not forming their own bloc against the ECOWAS because the ECOWAS seem to be toothless bulldogs as of now. So the court, which should serve as a mechanism of deterrence, is now being watered down. It's now being reduced to almost non-entity. So it was important that they had this conversation. I only believe that after all the conversation that they had, all the fantastic ideas, they will go and implement them into practical terms. Because for me, as of now, the ECOWAS courts is not being respected. Even in Sierra Leone, we are having outstanding issues. Look at even they are not just the VP other issues. There are other outstanding issues also that are not being adhered to. So going forward, I think they need to continue to bolster the synergy and collaboration between them to come to this understanding that salon courts, let's see ECOWAS court, for can't take their own work in the hand, for can't compete with them, but rather that for can complement each other. So I think it was a genuine conversation. Very fantastic ideas were made, but in Africa, salon, the bookman they organize abroad, and beaucoup we put on paper man for writing their paper. Who can now one of the best in the world. These are people come to learn from Sierra Leoneans. We are very brilliant. We are brilliant at putting things on paper, but all that need to come up from that paper on the ground. I did the full labor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barry. I think that's all we actually have time for. Time is gone. So thank you very much for being part of the program this morning. The program returns for a fresh edition next Saturday, where we'll also be looking at some other major stories that would have actually taken place the week ahead. I want to thank so very much Dr. Alex Bangura, who has been here for the first time. I'm sure we'll be having him frequently now on the show. And as well, Barry, Alfie Barrie, who is here almost all of the weeks. So I have been Musa Baisi. Special thanks to the team, my executive producer, Amaram Abba, Basil Keita, Temu Bangura, John Eskroma, Rosalind Kamara, and the rest of the team. We'll see you next week by God's grace. Stay tuned to 96.3 FM. Good night.
Rise Radio 96.3 FM.
So make we rise with the morning sun. We keep rising till the break of dawn. So make we rise, 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 sweet rise with you. Make we rise, 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 sweet rise with you. So make we rise with the morning sun. We keep rising till the break of dawn. So make we rise, 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 sweet rise with you. Make we rise, 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 sweet rise with you.